Good morning, it is Hannah from Communication Wise, and I'm going to start with a short story today to illustrate how we can miss important pieces of the story when we are in conflict. So this is a couple of years ago. I think my son was about 4 years old, and my friend and I were driving to the beach with our 4-year-olds, and we were driving through the beach town, waiting for a traffic light to move on. And so my kids and her son were looking outside the window, looking at this situation where there was an older gentleman in a wheelchair being pushed by another person. And so my son says, well, that is lazy. That's a grown-up, and he's not even walking himself. So I look in the same direction, and I said, it would have been easier if he had legs. Do you see legs there, babe? And so this was a man without legs, like literally there was nothing under, the sitting area. So obviously he needed somebody to help him get where he needed to go. And so when we are in conflict, we think we know this whole story because we were there and we saw everything and we heard everything, and then we made up stories, and we think that we have this whole story, and we are able to have conclusions about it. But when we are in conflict, there is always another side. Even though what we heard and saw and made up and made bigger in our own heads, that is just part of the story. It is not the full story. And so you have to be willing to understand that, to be aware of that, and also to open up to the other side of the story. I was sitting in a custody mediation one time with a woman who wanted full custody and no contact with between the kids and the dads. And she was very strongly opinions about it, and she was very vocal, and she was very loud, and in a way she was obstructing every piece of progress. So I started thinking, like, how can we have a little big breakthrough here? So I went into a separate meeting with her, and I asked her what was actually going on, and she told me, well, he's been shown to not show up, to disappoint me, to mess up my schedule, to disappoint the kids, never give any sign of life, and then just show up whenever he wants. And she said, I can't work with that. I have a life, I have my own things going on, and that's not how it's going to go. So yes, they have a dad, no, he's not going to be there. And so this is very valuable information, because first you just see a person who is unwilling and maybe like loud and annoying and frustrated and all that. But there's more to it. There's always more to it. And so I was in a separate meeting with him, and I said, well, going forward, how do you think you are going to actually be there? Is this realistic, what you want? Is this something that you can actually realize and make true? And so in the end, they worked it out. But it was a lot of work, because they had to let go of their own stories of, this is a crazy woman and this is an a-hole of a man, and that's just how it is. But that's too easy, it's too simple, and it's never the whole truth. It's never the whole story. So let go of that picture that you build in your head of that person, of that situation, because you have to be willing to open up to the other side of the story. There's always more to it, and if you want to work it out, you will have to be willing to open up to that part, and then invent options. There's always multiple solutions for a single problem, but you will have to move. You have to do some work. You have to work hard on yourself to open up, not give in, but to open up to the fact that there's always more to it. There might be missing limbs. There might be limbs that you've missed in this whole story while you thought you knew it all. You just never do. And that's the same for me. It's the same for everybody. It's online. When you see people with, strong opinions about a certain matter, it is people in conflict. It is people everywhere that have a certain idea and they haven't checked in with the other person. Well, that's per definition not knowing the full story. And I invite you to open up to the possibility that there's more, and there's always more. If you want to work it out, you'll have to be willing to let go of certain ideas, and you have to open up to the rest of the story. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I'm hoping that you're going to like and subscribe, and I am wishing you a wonderful day. Bye.